All right. Day 21 of Talk to the Camera Challenge. It's getting dark, there's lots of mosquitoes, so I'm going to be fairly quick about this. But this is a complete aggression system for you and your dog if your dog is aggressive. Okay? It's Joel Beckman's system. He put this together, he uses it extensively. He's a preeminent trainer in California. He knows what he's doing, and it's very successful. So, this system is in two parts. The first part is when you're away from any of the triggers for your dog. That means away from other dogs, away from people, if that's where their aggression lies. So these are the things that you do every day in your house when you're with your dog, when you go for walks. The other part of this is when that trigger is present. Okay? That's when there could be a dog, when there could be a person. So, for the first part, there are two parts to the first part. Now, exercise. Your dog needs exercise. Your dog needs more exercise than most people give them. I think the average in North America is like 24 minutes a day. Our dog gets a 40-minute walk in the morning, a 40-minute walk at night, usually a half hour at lunch, and then he gets to go out to pee before bed. Exercise is important because it brings their physical energy level down, which means they're calmer. And when you go out to walk, instead of just being in your backyard or having them Zoom in your house, that's just a bare minimum to stay sane. You need to go out for walks, and you need to go a different direction each day, and the dog needs to sniff, they need to see different things, they need to hear different things. This is what brings down their mental energy. This is what makes them calmer. This is what makes them easier to train. This is what makes them hear you when they're focused on something else, maybe fixating on something else. This is what lets them hear your voice and know what's being asked of them. Okay? Exercise is a non-negotiable. Also at home, also every day. Then we need to talk about leadership. Be the boss. So many mosquitoes. Be the boss is about 5 things, and I'm not going to go into them, but they all contribute to your dog listening to you, to being able to be called away from a fight, to be able to be called away from people, to listen to you and do what is asked. So these 5 things are 100% recall. Get your recall nailed. A place command. Go to that place right now. There's chaos going on. I need you over there. 100%. Loose leash walking. Walking on a loose leash, when they hit the end of the leash, they give. They give because they realize they've gone too far. They reserve part of that brain for checking in with you. Okay? Very important, and it contributes to reductions, our ability to reduce aggression. No jumping. We need to eliminate jumping. It's disrespectful. It's one of those things that if the dog is respectful and isn't jumping on you, isn't jumping on other people, then it helps lessen aggression and keep them calmer. And finally, if all of those things are handled, if all of those are dialed in, and you've still got an aggression problem, sleeping in the bed, which is hard for a lot of people to eliminate because it's one of their favorite things. So I leave that for last, but sleeping in the bed is one of those things. Okay, so these are the away from the triggers training, the everyday training. Now, when the trigger is present, there are 4 things that we need to deal with. The first is desensitization and socialization. Desensitization is just seeing, hearing, smelling things over and over and over again. If we can provide a way for them to do that, almost triggered but not quite triggered, then they get used to it. They get used to the feeling, a little bit of feeling of tension, but because nothing happens, they get used to it, they get used to it, they get used to it, and you can close the gap between them and that thing. Desensitization, they don't actually meet the thing. Socialization, they do meet. They meet the person or they meet the dog. Meeting a dog should be done or a person should be done in a safe fashion. So that may well mean leash, or a fence between you, or a muzzle, or all three. You decide. You know your dog. I can't tell you that. Also matters how big your dog is, what breed your dog is. Safety is big. But socialization with a person means touch, means looking, means talking to the dog. That's socialization. For a dog, it means butt sniffing or sniffing the nose. That's a handshake for a dog. And play bows are great. What is not great are staring, going very still. Those are steps before an attack. So watch for those. So desensitization and socialization. 2, work the handshake. Okay, when you meet someone, let your dog see you shaking hands. When you meet someone, give them a big hug, if it's not too awkward. Because you've worked on leadership, being the boss, because they're tamped down and calmer, because they've been exercised, now when they see you meet with someone, because you're the leader, when you accept that person, they better accept that person. And just little side note, if you shake hands with someone and your dog doesn't react at all, they're not protecting you, okay? Dogs can be fearful for many reasons. They can be aggressive for many reasons. Aggression can be because of protection, but if your dog doesn't react to a handshake, they're not protecting you. So that handshake or that hug indicates to the dog that this person is within your circle of trust. They better toe the line. Similar and kind of in that same zone is treats from the scary stimulus. So treats from the scary stimulus takes what is a person coming into your house that may be scary, they may be protective, they may be, I don't know, jealous. It takes that feeling that they have when they see that person, and what we're doing is we're going to throw treats to the dog. So now instead of that person being scary, when they see people come in, they see people as being treat delivery systems. Oh my God, someone's come to the house, I'm going to get treats. You have to plan this because people are going to have treats when they come. And the idea is at first, when they come in, you do the handshake method on the hugs, but that person from a safe distance, most likely with the dog on a leash, is going to toss treats. They're not going to look at the dog, they're not going to talk to the dog, certainly not touch them, but they will throw treats. I can tell you, in most cases, the dog snaps onto the treats. They have to be high value treats. The dog snaps onto the treats. Pretty soon the dog's eating out of your hand. Pretty soon you're a friend. Okay? Not all dogs, and the owner has to be the judge of whether it's safe with their dog. There are many muzzles that you can feed a dog through, many muzzles where they can pick a treat up off the ground. So be safe. So that's the third thing. The last thing is mark and punish. I'm not using punish in the context that everyone's using it now. Oh my God, you know, nothing adversive, you can't hit your dog. No, you can't hit your dog. That's wrong. I'm not talking about something that traumatizes the dog or hurts them. Punishment in the behavior sciences is something that reduces a behavior. So, for instance, if your dog's jumping on you and you put your hands up so that they can't get them, the taking away of your hands is negative. The fact that it's trying to decrease their jumps, they're decreasing a behavior. Decreasing a behavior is called punishment. It's not so punishing to hold your hands up so your dog can't get them until their feet are on the ground. Then they get the attention. Here comes an airplane. Hang on. All right. So mark and punish. Here's what it means. It means a dog needs to know when they've done something right, and they need to know when they've done something wrong. When they are far away when they do something right or wrong, you can't reward them right at that second. And dogs basically only understand that they've done something right or wrong if there's a reward or punishment right at the time that it happens. So if they're far away, you need a word or a phrase that lets them know that they did something right and that treat or punishment is coming. And then you have to follow up with treat or punishment. So, for instance, when when a dog reacts to another dog in the street. Back off to the threshold where they're less likely to react. If they still react, you can say, hey, which is my marker at the moment that they start to react, and then I take them by the collar with stiff arms. I back them up away from the other dog. I back them up into a sit with stiff arms, and I look at them for a second, and then I release. Now, the dog will still be on the leash, but they get the point. It's not fun for them to be backed up. They feel your strength and they feel your attitude. That's the punishment. The mark is the hey. The punishment is being backed up and sat down. Okay? They know that you're not happy. You stay calm through this. Okay? This is not meant to be traumatizing. It's meant to send a message. So, 4 things. Okay? Desensitization and socialization. Handshake method and hugs. Treats from the scary stimulus. Mark and punish. It's 4 different approaches for when that trigger is there, or for introducing the trigger. Okay? The idea with this system is that we try all of these things, and all of these things aren't necessarily appropriate. For instance, 2 dogs fighting with each other in the house. There's no desensitization or socialization to be done here. There is no handshake method to be done. But there is still a bunch of work within this system. You can still do the being the boss, you can still do the exercise, and you can still do the mark and punish. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to decide what is the baseline for your dogs, where they're at, or your dog, where your dog's at now, and you are going to know, you've seen them in action. You're going to decide the baseline, and then you're going to go through the whole system. You're going to work all of these behaviors, these away from the trigger behaviors, everyday living behaviors. You're going to work those, the exercise and the leadership skills, leadership behaviors. You're also going to make sure your dog gets more socialization and desensitization. You're going to make sure that people shake hands at your door. They're going to throw treats, and you're going to mark and punish any bad behavior so the dog knows what is bad. The things that work are going to yield some results. Maybe you see a 20% result. Maybe you see a 10% result. The things that bring results you double down on and you do more of. The things that you don't need or that don't work, you abandon. That's it. This system will cover the different causes. Okay? Make sure that you've got them all wrapped up, that the leadership behaviors, that you've trained those perfectly, and this will reduce, or it will definitely manage, it may eliminate, it will certainly reduce aggression to people and to dogs. Okay? That's the explanation. It's a total system. I'll use in this video, I will have been using the graphic for this, and I will put a PDF of the graphic, a link to it, at the end of the video. If you have questions, put a comment on the video, and if you like this video, please subscribe. Thank you very much.